Hey everybody, so we have another couple of defensemen who have signed with their teams. Obviously we just talked about the Mitch Marner deal, but there are two defensemen I want to talk about. First is Ivan Provorov has agreed to a contract with the Philadelphia Flyers. Provorov is their number one defenseman, and he was an RFA this summer. He is signed long-term now to a 6-year contract worth $6.75 million per season. And like I said, once the Zach Werenski deal got done, that was going to open things up for these young defensemen getting signed. That kind of set the bar for what these defensemen are worth. And where we've seen Josh Morrissey get signed, now Provorov signed. There's talks are heating up between the Bruins and Charlie McAvoy. We've got the bar set here. And Provorov... Werenski obviously was a bridge deal, a shorter 3-year deal. Provorov gets a 6-year deal, a long-term deal with the Flyers at $6.75 million, more money than what Werenski got. But long-term deal means more money, higher cap hit because of what the player is presumably going to be worth down the road. Whereas Werenski, it's only a 3-year deal, so the cap hit is less because he gets a new deal in 3 seasons. So Provorov had a really tough year last year with Philadelphia, as the Flyers as a whole did. It was really a brutal season. But the year before, Provorov was absolutely outstanding. I believe Philadelphia really believes in him to be their number one defenseman going forward. And he's going to be, the top guy on that D-core. So any young defenseman like him, you want to get signed, you want to get locked up. And they did that to a long-term deal. Pretty good money, on just under $7 million per year. Not a bad contract team-wise, especially where I think 3-4 years from now, Provorov's going to be worth a lot more than what this contract is paying him. But he's got to have a bounce-back year after what he did last season. But overall, I think that's a good deal for Philadelphia, who defense has always been an issue for the Flyers. Defense and goaltending are just, for the last 20 years or so, have really seemed to hold Philadelphia back. And it seems like they cannot catch a break with players in those positions. Provorov's a guy I think you can build around. You can build a D-core around. You can build a team around. And someone who is going to be a valuable asset to the Flyers going forward. So I think that's a good deal for both sides involved there, and certainly for the Flyers. The other contract I want to talk about is Jared Spurgeon just signed an extension with the Minnesota Wild that goes into effect after this season, making $7.575 million per year. So a big-time extension for Jared Spurgeon. Let me just pull up. It's a 7-year contract extension. It's a 7-year extension for Spurgeon, who I believe is in his late 20s now. I think he's 29 or 30. Yeah, he's 29 right now. So this pretty much locks Spurgeon up in Minnesota for, I would say at least most of the rest of his career. He's played in Minnesota his whole career. He's a great offensive defenseman for them. He's had some really, really good years there. And plays up with Ryan Suter now on that top pair, and he's been a stalwart of that team's defense for a long time now. So again, I think Spurgeon, more of a veteran player. He's not in the same boat as the Werenskis and the McAvoys and the Morrisseys and the Provorovs. He's older. He's a veteran. He was going to be a UFA after this season. Minnesota's committed to him. He's a big part of that team's defense. He's a big part of especially their offense from the back end. He's a big-time point producer and a really important player for them. And Minnesota is a team that struggles offensively in general. They don't have a lot there that puts up big point numbers. So if you can have someone like Spurgeon on your back end who can produce, 40-plus points as a defenseman every year, that's an important asset certainly to any team, but definitely to a team like Minnesota. He gets $7.5 million plus per year, which I think for a veteran guy absolutely is expected, and certainly a defenseman who produces offensively the way that he does, that's a very reasonable cap hit. So Minnesota's keeping Jared Spurgeon around for the foreseeable future. Ivan Provorov staying in Philadelphia. Those are two defensemen that have signed in the past couple of days to long-term extensions with their teams. And I think that they're pretty good deals for both sides all around. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.